Sakhee, the best horse to pass through John Dunlop's hands. Edward Whitaker by John Randall. Updated 2:25 p.m. July 7, 2018. BALMERINO An outstanding champion in New Zealand and Australia, BALMERINO never won a pattern race for Dunlop, but his second place in the 1977 Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe was arguably the best single performance by any horse he trained. This globetrotter won 14 of his 18 races as a 3-year-old, including the New Zealand 2000 Guineas and Derby in 1975. He also took the Brisbane Cup and Air New Zealand Stakes. He arrived at Randall from California in August 1977, and in his first 2 races for Dunlop won the Valdo Stakes at Goodwood and proved himself Europe's champion older horse with a fast finishing second behind the great alleged in the Arc. BALMERINO then finished first in the Group 1 Gran Premio del Jockey Club but was demoted to second for causing interference. In 1978, he won the Clive Graham Stakes at Goodwood and was second in the Coronation Cup and Eclipse. Shirley Heights. This dual Derby hero was one of the toughest as well as classiest winners of Dunlop's career, gaining both his classic victories by a head. Homebred by the Earl of Halifax, Shirley Heights won the Royal Lodge Stakes as a 2-year-old and the Dante Stakes in the spring of 1978. In the Derby he seemed to have an impossible task 2 furlongs out, but he had the good luck to find a clear run after Greville Starkey switched him to the rails, and produced a tremendous burst to catch Hawaiian Sound in the last couple of strides. In the Irish Derby he scored narrowly from X-Directory and Hawaiian Sound. The son of Mill Reef was injured after the Irish Derby and never ran again. He was rated below King George winner Ile de Bourbon, whom he had beaten at Newmarket in May. Shirley Heights proved the most successful of all Dunlop's horses at stud, surpassing Pitcairn and Ephysio, Barry and Sakhee. Habibti. Perhaps the best champion of either sex Dunlop ever had, Habibti disputes with her 6th dam Mumtaz Mahal the distinction of being the fastest filly ever trained in Britain. Having won the Lothian and Moyglare Stud Stakes as a 2-year-old, and come 3rd in the 1000 Guineas and 9th in the Irish 1000 Guineas in 1983, she proved a flying machine in her last 4 races that season. Habibti was the decisive winner of the July Cup and Sprint Championship, as the Nunthorpe was called that year, delivered an awesome performance with a 7-length victory in the Haydock Sprint Cup, and followed up in the Prix de l'Abbé. In all 4 of those triumphs her jockey was Willie Carson and her closest pursuer was popular favourite Soba. Habitat's daughter was not as dominant as a 4-year-old but still won the King's Stand Stakes. Salsabil, the only one of Dunlop's horses to win 5 Group 1 races, Salsabil landed the Prix Marcel Boussac at 2 and became a special filly in 1990 by achieving a unique 4-timer in the 1000 Guineas, Oaks by 5 lengths, Irish Derby and Prix Vermeil. Hamden El Maktoum's daughter of Sadler's Wells, ridden by Willie Carson, was the first filly to win the Irish Derby for 90 years, although very few of her sex had run in the race. She was a late withdrawal from the King George, disappointed when favoured for the Arc on her final appearance, and was not clearly the champion 3-year-old filly, and the Groove also had strong claims to the title. Dunlop said, "She doesn't like being cosseted, and if you make a fuss of her in her box she's quite likely to take a lump out of you." Sakhee, the best horse to pass through Dunlop's hands, Sakhee was a Derby runner-up and dual pattern winner during his time at Randall, and became a great champion after being transferred to Godolphin. His parents Barry and Whitaker, Ribblesdale Stakes, were big race winners for Dunlop, and in 2000 Hamden El Maktoum's colt won the Sandown Classic Trial and Dante Stakes, and came second in the Derby. At Epsom he led over 3 furlongs out but was caught in the last 100 yards and beaten a length by Cinder. They pulled well clear of their rivals, and were among the best pairs of colts ever to come 1st and 2nd in the Derby. As a 4-year-old, for Godolphin and trainer Saeed bin Saror, Sakhee proved a giant of the turf with victories in the Juddmonte International by 7 lengths and the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe by a record equaling 6 lengths. Snaafi Dancer. The most notorious horse of Dunlop's career was one who never even raced, Snaffy Dancer, who fetched a world record sum as a yearling in 1983, at the height of the Keeneland sales bubble, and became a laughingstock. The son of Northern Dancer cost Sheikh Mohammed $10.2 million after a bidding duel with Robert Sangster, but proved so slow on the Randall gallops that a racecourse venture would have resulted in certain embarrassment. Dunlop said of him, "Rather a sweet little horse actually, but unfortunately no bloody good." After his first winter, Snaffy Dancer really was bitterly disappointing. The writing was on the wall by spring. Jeremy Nocita, his assistant, stated, "The older he got, the worse looking he got. In fact, even when he arrived he didn't look that good. And by spring he was a horrible looking brute. At stud in Canada he got only a few mares in foal." John Dunlop obituary. John Dunlop fact file.